This special edition of Swipe is proudly brought to you by Sony, a leading consumer electronics brand committed to producing innovative and quality products. This is Swipe on Your Money.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Swipe, coming to you from CES in Las Vegas. Now, the Consumer Electronics Show is the biggest of its kind on Earth, and essentially what you've got is every big name in technology, as well as a lot of smaller names coming here to show you what the future holds, what is coming as far as tech and innovation. Now, one of the biggest names, when you talk tech, when you talk big names in tech, they don't come much bigger than Sony. And we were fortunate enough to be shown around the Sony booth and check out some of the, well, the cool things that Sony have to offer in 2019. So here we are at the Sony booth here at CES 2019. Now, Sony has one of the biggest and probably one of the most exciting booths here over the years that I've been coming to CES. And to tell us about some of the cool stuff for this year, Abel McRaz from Sony Australia joins me. Abel, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
8K TVs. Here we are in front of the latest. I mean, people still, I think, getting their heads around 4K. Tell us about what you guys are doing in the 8K space.
Mate, what we're doing, we've actually got this beautiful 8K TV. It's an 85-inch TV.
That's big.
That's very big, super large screen. But what we're actually finding is we're finding that the consumers are using larger screens in their living rooms every single day. So the larger the screen, we actually require better resolution to get that, to keep that picture quality. And the 8K has 33 million pixels. Now, just comparing that to 4K, that's about 8 million pixels, so 4 times the amount of pixels.
Can you tell the difference? Like if you sat in front of 4K and then someone sat you in front of 8K, can you tell the difference?
Absolutely, absolutely. The difference is clearly visible.
What would people use it for?
So the really good thing about this TV, it's all about the picture quality, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to replicate from the creator, how the creator wants the viewer to see the picture, and we want to have that exactly replicated into the family home. So to do that, we have tons of technology within the TV. But understanding that 8K content might not be readily available right now, right? So the TV has a really powerful upscaling processor built in, which allows it to upscale whatever content you put in to very near 8K quality.
Really? So if people, maybe they've got content in SD, maybe it's in HD, 4K, it can take that and get as close to 8K as whatever it can.
That's correct.
That's extraordinary.
It is. It's very.
Can we talk about as well a couple other cool features as far as the picture is concerned? Different modes that you've got depending on what you're actually watching.
Yeah. So what we've done, we've actually teamed up with the guys from Netflix, and we've developed a Netflix calibrated mode. So what that means is, again, with the Netflix content and the way it is, you get the best picture quality, the best way that they want it replicated as well. So again, using that from creator to home experience without any. We've also got IMAX enhanced mode as well included into the TV.
Got to get just back to the 85-inch, because my understanding is that's what's going to be coming out to Australia.
Correct.
That's big. Like to Australia, do we just love massive TVs?
Yeah. Look, it's super large. But the Australian consumer is moving towards that direction. Launch time is around about August, September, and as we get closer to that, we'll be able to confirm pricing.
We're talking TVs.
Yeah.
Let's talk audio. 360, the future of music. So over here, we're going to take a bit of a walk over. Before we get there, just explain audio in terms of Sony's view of it, because it's, from what I understand, it's kind of, the genesis almost when it comes to Sony.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right, James. So audio is in our DNA. It's where Sony started. So audio for us is super important. And as you know, we don't just replicate hardware for audio. We also, part of our Sony Music family, we create audio as well.
And as mentioned, the latest innovation is in here. The future of music, the 360 reality audio. I did it yesterday. It was super cool. Let's go inside. So Abel, we've made our way inside the booth. The as it's being touted, the future of sound, the future of audio. Just explain what we're in, what this is.
Okay, so this is a set-up listening room so you can experience the future of audio. It's called 360-degree reality audio.
Yep.
So what this is actually allows any creator or musician to map out in a 360-degree sphere at any point, at any angle, so that can be reproduced, and then the listener can listen to it exactly the same way it was intended to be.
And that's the critical part, isn't it? And just explain how that's come about. I mean, dealing with musicians and producers and so forth, and then what, giving them back this product?
Yeah, so musicians and producers are always looking for technology that allows the listener to listen to the music the way they intend it.
Yeah.
And this is one of those object-based technologies that allows a musician to actually do that.
Now, I did this yesterday, and I've got to say, it was quite extraordinary, particularly when you put the headphones on. So is this something that is going to be available to consumers? And how is that going to work? Because from what I understand, you're just putting it out there, aren't you?
We are. So this is a real wow feature. So I'm sure, as you heard yesterday, it was a bit, you had to check that was actually coming through the headphone versus going through the speakers. But what we're actually doing is we are offering that technology to the creators.
Yep.
Which means they'll be able to create their music within the 360-degree audio reality format. And then from there, it's going to be supplied also to the music streaming services. So the reason for that is music is being listened to via headphones and wireless speakers via the streaming services. And so when we combine those two together, the consumer is going to be able to listen to this music in great detail anywhere, anytime.
Now, when you come to CES, year after year, one of the busiest, if not the busiest and probably biggest booths or stalls here at CES is Samsung. The level of interest in what Samsung are doing each and every year is quite extraordinary. And for some insights into not just what products and services are coming out from Samsung, but more of an insight into their philosophy, their thinking around the future of connectivity, in particular both indoors and critically outdoors. We spoke to Gary McGregor from Samsung Electronics Australia. Each year at CES, there's almost a competition for what booth has got the most amount of people, what booth can cram the most amount of people into a confined space. And year after year, the winner has got to be Samsung. The level of interest in what they have to display each year is quite incredible, to the point where it is no longer a booth. It's not Samsung's booth. They've called it Samsung City. And to talk about, well, what's on show here, but also importantly, Samsung's philosophy, Samsung's view on what is happening as far as the future and their role in it. Gary McGregor from Samsung Electronics Australia is here with me. Gary, thanks very much for your time. We're in a car. It's almost my first kind of car-based interview series, like Jerry Seinfeld or something. There won't be any singing though, like carpool karaoke. Maybe
very disappointing, but okay.
Well, maybe some singing. We'll see how we go. But firstly, as I mentioned, like every year, this is going to be one of the most popular experiences. But just before we get to that, explain the view, explain the philosophy that you guys bring each year when it comes to what is evolving in technology.
Absolutely. This CES is significant for Samsung because this is the 50th year of Samsung. And it's also the 10th year of the Galaxy smartphone brand as well. So this is really the year where Samsung is going to create its masterpiece. And what I mean by that is we've obviously got our product announcements around 8K QLED TV, the wall, which is our micro LED technology, but we're actually looking at how do we connect products? How do we make Australians' lives easier through technology? And now we have the platforms in which we can do that through technologies like open ecosystems, 5G launching this year as well. And then more importantly than that is how do we make it smart and how do we make it intelligent? So at Samsung, we've obviously got pedigree in all of those areas over many years. We've driven technology and now we're going to bring it to life.
Let's talk about a little bit of what you just said there. Firstly, the open platform. How critical is that? I mean, we talk about, you know, a connected world. How critical that you've got that open platform to provide that connectivity?
It is. Technology is, as much as we all see it as an enabler, it can be very daunting as well. So the idea behind and why Samsung was so focused on an open platform is you can connect just not products that you think you should, but basically most of the products in your house will become connected. And in Samsung, our focus is how do we make that as simple and straightforward as possible. Now, earlier on this year, we actually launched a SmartThings solution with our ACV for Victorian customers. And that has worked incredibly well so far in terms of a hub and sensors in which they can start to really play around with the possibilities of connecting your home.
Let's talk a little bit about the connected home. I suppose the broad church of IoT. What's next? And are you seeing, particularly from an Australian consumer perspective, is there take-up? Are people getting on board with the idea of, a connected home, a smart home?
They are. I think, to be fair, today it's more transactional. People talk to the home, they get a response back. They're used to that. But the idea of your connectivity supporting you in and around the home, within the proximity of your home, your workplace, in your car, that's where it's really all connecting. So what we have on the stand today is we've got a lounge scenario where you can be sitting in your lounge, you can ask the vacuum cleaner to turn on, you can adjust the volume on your TV, you can adjust the air conditioning. But
spoken word.
Spoken word. Very, very simple. And then you can move into the kitchen area, and what I love is things like there's dinner time mode on your Family Hub fridge. So once the dinner is ready, you can click dinner time mode, and that will basically turn the TV off. And my kids love to play PS4 and Wii and everything else. They have to come to the dinner table. So you're really in control.
Does 2019, does it set the whole ecosystem up to really push ahead? I mean, so much about 5G and what that's going to mean for what we're talking about, the Internet of Things, the connectivity. Does that present a big opportunity? Is it going to turbo drive it?
It really is. I would describe 2019 as a crescendo, and what I mean by that is, for Samsung, we've obviously got pedigree in hardware. We've made so many good products over the years. Our investment in R&D is nearly $35 million per day. Really? $35 million per day. And we've got nearly 60,000 R&D engineers. So this is really the time when the platforms that we need to build on are actually ready in the mainstream. And that's what's really exciting. So we manufacture 90% of our products ourselves. We have the software and then the operating system layer. So Samsung is very unique in this space. And that's why working with partners in Australia to make sure we have that seamless integration and seamless experience, it really will be a game changer.
All right, Gary McGregor, appreciate you joining us today. Thank you very much for letting us get in the car.
Thank you for driving.
Well, let's go. Time to go. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go check out LG. Plus, we'll do a bit of a recap on all the latest trends coming from CES. So stay with us.
This special edition of Swipe is proudly brought to you by Sony, a leading consumer electronics brand committed to producing innovative and quality products. This special edition of Swipe is proudly brought to you by Sony, a leading consumer electronics brand committed to producing innovative and quality products.
Welcome back to this special edition of Swipe, coming to you from CES in Las Vegas. Now, LG, their motto, Life's Good, is all about making life easier. And that, again, is the focus at this year's CES in terms of some of the new products and offerings coming from the South Korean giant. And for a look at some of the really, really cool innovations at this year's CES LG offering, we spoke to Angus Jones from LG Electronics Australia. So here we are at the stand, the booth of one of the biggest names in tech, and that is LG. And Angus Jones from LG Electronics Australia is here to talk about some of the coolest things at this year's booth. And look, Angus, we've got to start with the rollable TV because, last year you showed in a secret room, showed me the prototype, and now a year later, here's the product version.
So last year we were just looking at a white box. This year we're looking at essentially a sound bar, and as you can see, a TV is just magically rolling out of the top of it.
And just to explain, so this isn't a trick of the eye. I mean, this thing is rolling.
It's physically rolling out of the TV, and these are production units. These will be available in Australia in 2019.
Goodness me. What kind of tech is in these things?
Okay, so this is based on our industry-leading OLED technology. So the same technology that we've been promoting for the last few years, which is essentially the premium of the television market. Fantastic picture. In the front of it, we've got a 4.1 Dolby Atmos, 100-watt soundbar.
You can hear it.
Amazing sound, and essentially the screen is just rolling up into the cabinet behind. There's no magic, there's no tricks. Indeed, the piece of furniture at the bottom is purely that. We could lift the box off the top and put it on our own counter.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And the idea being that a lot of people, you know, Australians, as you've told me in the past, we love big screens.
We love big screens.
But not necessarily having a blank or a black big screen.
Big black screen that we want to look at. If you've got a nice view, you want to put your lounges to look at that view. In this particular case, when we finish looking at the view, in fact, we can just listen to music with it down. When we want to watch TV, we press the button and the screen rolls up. We can even have the screen come up about this much, and we can have the time, the weather, we can have family photos. We can have what we call a home dashboard. We can actually control other devices in the house, like the washing machine.
If you can, each year you can generally judge the popularity of a product across the show floors by the amount of people videoing and taking pictures. This thing's got to be a leader.
To get where we're standing now, we had to fight people back.
Absolutely. It's about to get a bit harder because we're going to go over to the other sort of big, I suppose, showcase in terms of the TVs.
Yep.
8K.
Well, look,
8K.
if we didn't have this rollable, this would be the star of the show. So this is once again our OLED technology, and what we've got over here is got an 88-inch OLED screen, which is 8K. That's 33 million pixels. Now, the reality is we don't have 8K images today, but we've got to start somewhere, and we've got this magnificent TV set which you can see in front of you.
Wow. Can you tell the difference? So if you're sitting down, there's a 4K there, someone says, oh, hey, take a look at this 8K. Can you tell the difference?
Yes, you can. So for the viewers at home, think about high definition TV versus standard definition TV.
Yep.
4 times better. 4K TV, 4 times better. 8K TV, 4 times better in the resolution that you're going to see. Unfortunately for you, you're going to see every hair on your face, every little blemish.
It gets harder year after year. Yeah. What is good as well, though, talk us about the upscaling. As you say, there's not a lot of content in 8K, but this thing upscales.
It is, and what we've done is we've used our artificial intelligence across our whole range, but especially for this guy, and we've looked at what's the input signal that's coming in. Is it standard definition, high definition, 4K? We put some really clever algorithms to try and make these pictures look as best it possibly can without having an 8K image.
Can I ask, just having wandered around and speaking to before coming on air, AI, the level of intelligence that has been put into products, not just TVs, I mean, it seems to be across the board. Just talk to us about the philosophy, if you like, or the vision around the level of AI that's being incorporated.
Okay, so at LG we talk about making Australians' lives easier, right? So if we think about, you know, the dream is you can talk to something in your house and it'll talk back. Well, that's a reality this year, right? We already have the ability to talk to our televisions. Contextually, we can be talking about something and then ask a question beyond the first question we ask and it understands. What we're going to be doing at our home appliance this year, for example, if you're doing your washing, you can ask the washing to start. We've always been able to ask it how long till it finished. Now it's going to tell us it's finished. It's going to say, would you like to put that in the dryer? Obviously, you have to physically do that, but it'll set the dryer up ready for it. And you may say, no, I'm going to hang it on the line today, but the system will come back and say, did you know it's going to rain today? This is what we're talking about this year for an artificial intelligence perspective.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
Now, there's one other thing I want to show viewers. Yeah. You spoke about home appliances. Yeah. Look, I know fridges are a big thing. Yeah. It's something that year after year there's constant innovation, a heartbeat of the home and the kitchen. But we're going to look at a wine fridge as well as a TV.
We're going to look at
tech goes into these.
Well, so we're going to look at an LG signature product. This is our premium product, beautiful design, really easy to use, and it's got our latest technology in it. So what we're going to see over here today is we're going to see a wine fridge, which we should see in Australia towards the end of the year. The first thing I'm going to show you is I tap on the screen, and we can see beautiful wooden shelves inside. We can see 3 temperatures here. So we've got the top temperature for our red wine, we've got the middle temperature, some champagne we've got in the bottom there, and we've got a freezer at the bottom there. What we can do is we can put our foot there, the door will open. Of course, we've got our arms full of wine. We can shut that door again, and of course I might need some ice now. I can press that button there, and then magically our ice bucket's going to raise up and we can get some ice out of the bottom of the fridge. Of course, inside, all beautiful stainless steel, something prestigious that you would expect from a product like this.
Goodness, mate. And is this going to be, can Australians buy this?
We should have this in Australia by the end of the year.
Wow, 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 wow. Coming to CES year after year, one of the big questions is this year going to be a year of revolution, or is it going to be another year of evolution? Well, you'd have to say CES 2019 is the latter. In terms of some of the trends that we're seeing, in terms of some of the big ticket items, it is again the likes of AI, the likes of 5G now, the likes of IoT, connectivity. So tech we know, but the latest iterations and where it's going into the future. Now, for a recap on some of those big trends and what to really get excited about in terms of what's coming in 2019, I caught up with John Davidson from the Australian Financial Review. All right, John Davidson, here we are at CES. Got to get your thoughts. First and foremost, what have you made of this year's CES?
Well, the highlight that everybody's talking about has got to be the LG OLED R rollable TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
It solves a real problem for a lot of consumers.
We've actually just been around the LG booth.
Oh, okay.
And for me, I agree. If you can sort of, if you can try and gauge what the most popular thing is going to be by the amount of people that are always crowded around it taking pictures and video, the roll up and down TV by LG was unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
The thing about it is going to be the price, though. It's going to be very expensive at first, and then it'll probably trickle down eventually. And so the use cases that LG is, the main one they're suggesting, which is don't block your beautiful harbour view. Well, that's actually a reasonable use case, because you've got to be a wealthy person who probably has a harbour view before you can afford this thing. That's been one of the big trends at CES for the last few years, is not just the technology, but also how to fit the technology into the lifestyle. So Samsung has done the frame, which took them by surprise how popular it was. And so you have it on your wall and it looks like a picture frame, or it could be a piece of art or a photo frame or whatever, and it doesn't look like a TV until you turn it on. And the OLED R from LG sort of fits into that lifestyle thing where you like the tech, but you don't want to build your lifestyle around the tech. You want it to fit into your lifestyle. And so there's a lot of stuff here at CES that does that.
We talk audio because I know you did it as well at the Sony booth. There is what do they call it? It's like the 360 reality audio, the future sound. Yeah. This thing was cool.
It's kind of mind-blowing. It's a bit complicated at the moment. The technology's not quite ready. When you do the demo, they've got to shove little microphones into your ears, which is actually another trend that's going on in headphones in general, is acoustically mapping the headphones to the individual. And there are good ways to do that that don't involve shoving microphones in your ears every time. But once they do that, it is mind-blowing. They can create a 360 sphere of sound around you and place a sound anywhere on that sphere. And you don't believe it going in, and you believe it coming out.
Yeah, there's no doubt though, you speak to all the major manufacturers, some of the smaller ones here in the Sands Expo where we are at the moment, and everyone is very conscious of privacy. Everyone is very conscious of the issues around that surveillance. I mean, this isn't going away. You get the sense that this is just going to become a bigger issue.
We haven't even begun to explore what it's going to mean. What does it mean when your microwave is voice controlled? So you can say to your microwave, Alexa, heat up 250 mils of milk for me. That's a great convenience to the user because they don't know whether it should be 45 seconds or a minute, like the number of times you burn milk in a microwave. So you have that immediate value, but at the same time that means Amazon knows that you've just heated up 250 mils of milk, right? Or popcorn. They actually have, on display here, they have a popcorn machine that knows when you've run out of popcorn and automatically reorders popcorn for you. That's just the beginning of it, right? But then once you start using voice for all of these things, it knows far more than it would have in the past, because in the past you would have said 45 seconds high. You know, it could be milk, it could be water, it could be eggs, who knows?
Who knew popcorn was such a controversial product? Look, just finally, you've been to a few of these now. how does this one fare? In terms of what you're seeing, innovation, stuff that's got to be coming to market, how is CES 2019 compared, do you think?
Well, say compared to the previous year, in a way we're seeing more of the same. We're seeing the maturation of these trends that are still very long-term trends. So it might seem that CES is slowing down because we're not getting all of these nifty little... We're getting some of them. 8K is probably a counterexample to what I'm talking about. But we're seeing these broad trends play out, and nobody knows where it's going to go. Even Amazon, if you ask Amazon, you know, what's the end game for you? Well, they'll say, well, we're just working on simple problems now, and the rest will take care of itself. And that might be true, but
they're not going to come out and say world domination. Perhaps that's what they're thinking. All right, John, it's been colourful, somewhat concerning, but good to talk as always. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, that is it for this episode of Swipe, coming to you from the rather cool CES in Las Vegas. Look, I hope you enjoyed the show, and don't forget, if you missed it, you can get it on catch-up. Plus, we have our own podcast. I'm James Daggar-Nickson. Thanks for watching.